Welcome to DiploNews Season 2, Week 3. Kicking this off with Iran. This is going to be a long one. In Iran, on March 18th, Israel hit the largest natural gas field in Iran. It's called the Pars Field. Specifically, Israel hit the South Pars Field. This was shortly after Intel Minister of Iran, Ismail Khatib, was murdered. And on Khatib, Israel also claimed to have taken out militia Commander Soleimani. Iran has not confirmed it. Ismail Khatib is this guy. And using ICD 203 or Intel Community Directive 203, I have deemed this very likely. This guy getting this murked. Ismail Khatib was the main intel dude of Iran. And he was a confidant of the current Iranian supreme leader, the current guy. Forgot his name. And I am almost certain this happened, because not only has Israel claimed to have taken him out, Iran, we don't know where he is. Let me translate. I don't know where he is into English. He's dead. And this will probably disrupt the Iranian political theater because the intelligence community is very, very big in Iran. Bigger than even the United States. And Trump said the United States and Iran are working on a peace deal on March 23rd. And this is the Iranian response.
Hey Taram, you are fired. You are familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. The strategic power you boasted of has turned into a strategic defeat. The claimant of global superpower status, if it could have escaped this predicament, it would have done so by now. Do not call your defeat an agreement. The era of your promises is over. Today, there are two fronts in the world, truth and falsehood. And any free seeker of truth will not be deceived by your media waves. Has the level of your internal discord reached the point where you are negotiating with yourselves? There will be neither any sign of your investments in the region, nor will you see previous energy and oil prices. Until you understand this, stability in the region is guaranteed by the powerful hand of our armed forces. Stability comes through power. We state explicitly, until such time as it is our will, no situation will return to its previous state. That will arise only when the very idea of taking action against the Iranian nation is completely erased from your corrupt minds. Our first and last word has been, is, and will be the same from day one. Someone like us will never come to terms with someone like you, neither now, nor ever. And victory is only from Allah, the Almighty, the All-Wise.
And we're thrilled to swear in our...
Meanwhile, Brent crude has been declining in price. And it's probably due to the oil injection that happened last week. And on the peace deal, Trump, or at least AP News and Al Jazeera, have stated some of the points that Trump wants. And some Iranian ones. Number one, no nukes in Iran. And Iran agreed to these terms. Number two, dismantle the Iranian nuclear plants in Natanz and some others. The ones which America repeatedly struck via air over the course of this war. Hand over Iranian enriched uranium to the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Administration. Alongside that, 30-day ceasefire. Limit the range and number of Iran's missiles and strikes and energy facilities in the region. That was mostly proposed by everyone impacted. Reopen Hormuz. This is why. Remove all the sanctions in Iran. And end the UN mechanism to make those sanctions happen again. And the United States has announced its support for Iranian civilian nuclear energy. Not nuclear weapons, nuclear energy for civilian use. And as you saw, certain Iranian leaders have claimed that no such talks are happening. And the guy that you saw was Ibrahim Zolifgari. And in Kuwait, a friend of mine was actually impacted by that. That's why I made it onto this, because it drew my attention. And now we get into some fun stuff. An American F-35 was forced to land, and Iran claimed they shot it down. I don't think they did it. I do think that the F-35 did indeed sustain damage, somehow. But the fun part, where I pull in ICD-203 again, this came from an Iranian Twitter post. Came from an Iranian Twitter post claiming that this is targeting footage of the F-35. And I don't think there's any way in hell they did it. For multiple reasons. Number one, it's an F-35. It's a stealth airplane. So, in the vast majority of cases, Iran, especially Iran, because they just got blown into smithereens over the course of this war, Iran has questionable air defense systems. Also, by the way, this watermark is here because it was forwarded from the Twitter account into a Telegram channel. And again, it's very, very unlikely that the F-35 was shot down by Iran. Even then, it wasn't even shot down. And let me explain some missile physics to you. Missiles do not actually directly impact the target. The missile explodes right before it impacts the target because the Titan missile, again, explodes right before impact. And this reduces the amount of mass the missile needs to do in order to land a hit on the target that it's trying to hit. And the shrapnel from the explosion is what hits the target. In this case, an aircraft. Instead of a specific area of the target getting damaged, more of the target gets damaged, and you are almost guaranteed to score a hit, assuming you did your math right. If this footage is true, and it cannot fake, again, Iran wouldn't even hit wouldn't have even fully downed the aircraft. It would have sustained minor damage. And most of this is because most of this explosion is because the missile exploded, and explosions are big. And this is the damage that I think the F-35 would have sustained if this footage is true. It is damaged landing gear, damaged tail fin or fins, damaged fuselage, which is what contains the fuel And if you pause this at the last few frames, you will see a fuel leak. And a probably damaged main wing. And apparently, because further information was released, there was some damage in the cockpit. The pilot sustained a shrapnel damage. And the new leader of Iran, people don't know if he's alive. Not even Trump. And the reason why is because we haven't seen him. And the United States has eased Iranian oil transit restrictions, which explains why Brent crude went up. And what the United States did was it did not buy new oil from Iran. It just made it easier for the ships that are already stuck in the Strait of Hormuz and around it. It made it so that the ships can move through. Nothing more, nothing less. And coalition and Iranian airstrikes continue. I'm not going to cover it much because they've been going for the entire war. And Hezbollah launched its longest range attack right here. Just north of Gaza. Longest range attack in history. And Iran struck Diego Garcia. It's a military base in the Indian Ocean. It's owned by the United States and Britain. Diego Garcia. And Iranian airstrikes have decreased a lot, as seen in this chart. But Hezbollah attacks have increased, interestingly enough. And Hezbollah has also had their leaders get merged into oblivion, and they decentralized into a cell attack network. In Ukraine, this is the first time you've probably heard about this in years. Russian Su-30 is a fourth-generation fighter jet. It's an Su-30. Crossed into Estonian airspace. I couldn't find a good airspace map except for this one. Over Vaindu Island. Vaindu Island has been a regular flashpoint over the course of the Ukraine war. Because you can't see it very well in this map, but Russian, Finnish, and Estonian airspaces intersect at Vaindu. The Su-30 was immediately intercepted by NATO. Or, I'm lying when I say that. NATO and especially Estonia mobilized their air reserves to go over Vaindu Island. And the Su-30 was in Estonian airspace for 1 minute. The Estonians weren't very happy about it, to say the least. They immediately were like, yo, Russia, why did you do that? And immediately summoned Russian diplomat. And a note about the plane, it was unarmed. In September of last year, Russia did this egregious violation of Estonian airspace. It was 12 minutes long. It was like this last one. But instead of immediately turning back, it just kept going before turning back. Belarus, its sanctions were lifted by the United States, and some analysts have said, yo, this might make Russia's economy better. Because over the course of the Ukraine war, it has been not doing great. And Russia sent an oil tanker. It's called a shadow tanker because it violates international embargoes, especially those imposed by the United States. Russia sent an oil tanker to Cuba, and Ukraine sent military advisors to the Gulf states, which are Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, and the like. And Spain sent $1.4 billion worth of equipment to Ukraine. No, this is not liquid. This is not cash. This is not cash. This is just stuff. Spain has said that it would be working with Ukraine and a couple other countries on making railways. And on the Belarusian sanctions, they were imposed on fertilizer, and in exchange, Belarus was to return 250 prisoners held by Belarus to the United States. And Russia has begun its spring and summer offensive of 2026. Russia is trying to take Ukraine's fortress belt. It's a series of towns. It's a series of towns and cities that, if the fortress belt were to fall, it would severely impact Ukraine's defensive capabilities. And the offensive began on March 21st. And Ukraine is considering holding elections, but it needs a ceasefire, which Russia has refused. And I didn't read much into it, but it seems like Ukraine needs a ceasefire to even run the elections. So, until the ceasefire happens, until the fighting stops, Ukraine won't be having an election anytime soon. Meanwhile, in Poland, Belarus has launched air balloons. They landed in Poland. Polish authorities came and grabbed them. And some analysts have raised the alarm, saying, hey, this seems a lot like Russia's preparing for a war with NATO. So take that as you will. That's my source. The document. I'll have it in my description.